Out we go.
Before you even throw the punches, your stance must be right as far as your pivot. Start off with your pivot, get on your pivot, and it's light. The jab goes like this. This is exactly how the jab goes. Jab.
Counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford.
Floyd Mayweather recently paid a visit to Terence Crawford's training camp, sharing valuable insights on how Crawford might overcome Canelo Alvarez. Reflecting on his own 2013 victory over Canelo, Mayweather emphasized the importance of speed, tight defense, and precise counterpunching, advice that could give Crawford an edge in their upcoming showdown. With Mayweather's experience guiding him, Crawford might be better prepared for the significant challenge against the larger, more powerful Alvarez.
You bring the hook with it. You can go to the body. Jab. Just double jab. Triple jab.
At a recent press conference, Canelo Alvarez didn't hold back when criticizing Terence Crawford's career.
He claimed that Crawford has yet to face any truly elite opponents and expressed confidence that he offers a higher level of skill and experience. These remarks weren't just bravado, they were a psychological tactic to sow doubt and put pressure on Crawford before their fight. Canelo's words reflect his belief in his own legacy and his desire to remind everyone of the gap in experience between him and Crawford.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level.
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since
Everybody.
2002.
Mention me one. You mention me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, me.
Look.
It's gonna be me.
I don't
And
care
you
about
will.
anybody else.
And you will see that.
You. So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? Same. Everybody else been saying, since I moved to 147, I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next. Watch.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/box.
Max Kellerman provided a sharp analysis comparing the two fighters. He highlighted how Crawford's jab has become one of boxing's most effective tools today. While Canelo once had a similarly sharp jab, it has diminished over time, giving Crawford a clear advantage in speed and precision. Kellerman also pointed out Crawford's tactical intelligence, which could pose major problems for Canelo, who relies heavily on his size and power.
This breakdown suggests strategy and technique might determine the outcome more than physical strength.
Best jab, Crawford. Best defense, Crawford. Nowadays, Crawford. I would say early in the fight, Canelo. And earlier in his career, Canelo. But he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years. Although Crawford is also hittable. With any fighter, when you talk about their defense, the question is not, can they be hit with a shot? You take punches. Everyone, the greatest defensive fighters ever get hit. Pernell Whitaker, Willie Pep, Floyd Mayweather, they all get hit. The question is, can you hit them with combinations? And both guys are hard to hit. With the two-piece, hard to hit.
So who has the best footwork out of the two?
In terms of cutting off the ring, last fight notwithstanding, Canelo has gotten much better at cutting off the ring. But, early in his career, he had a problem with that and was much more comfortable counterpunching. But overall, I have to say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power. Canelo also has a great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him.
Nikiko Ali, grandson of Muhammad Ali, has openly endorsed Terence Crawford. He praises Crawford's character, dedication, discipline, and skills inside the ring, viewing him as a fighter deserving of legendary status. Ali's support underscores how Crawford's influence extends beyond wins and titles. He commands respect among boxing icons connected to the sport's historic legacy.
People with Canelo before Canelo's last fight and after Canelo's last fight, and it seems like it's more 50-50 now. So everything is just build up to that fight is just gonna be absolutely magnetizing. Like that fight, it's garnered so much more buzz after Canelo's last fight, and Bud is Bud. He's one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. He is one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Have you sparred any of them?
I haven't sparred Bud yet. I haven't been in Canelo's camp. I've met Canelo a few times. I love Canelo's team. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters. He's been my favorite fighter for the longest time. But I have to team Bud because me and Bud are cool, and I have so much belief in Bud, and I know who he is as a fighter. He is one of the greats. So he can do anything he wants.
Being around both of them and seeing how they work and train and things like that, what makes both of them the fighters they are, in your opinion?
I've watched Bud, so for Bud in particular, he's calm in everything he does, and that kind of calm is scary to watch because it shows experience. You can see that he's been doing this for decades.
Canelo Alvarez has publicly acknowledged Crawford's abilities with professionalism. He stated that at the highest levels, weight classes become less relevant because true professionals adapt and adjust. Canelo emphasized his commitment to intense preparation, understanding that facing Crawford requires more than just natural advantages. His comments show respect for his opponent and a recognition that peak conditioning and strategic sharpness are essential.
Smaller guy, and why do I need to fight this guy? For you, what changed? Tell me about the moment where you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll do this. This sounds like a good idea.
No, if you're thinking about it, look how big turns this fight. It's a big fight. No, that's why made me change. But I've been in his situation before, jumping weight classes, and when you're a good fighter, that doesn't matter. So I'm not gonna focus on that. I'm gonna focus on training very hard because Crawford is a very good fighter.
Yeah, tell me about your experience with that, because now it's reversed. He's coming up in weight. What could be dangerous? What aren't we seeing that maybe you see in this fight?
No, everything. He's a good fighter. Obviously, I know that, and I need to be careful. I need to be careful in everything.
Showbiz provided a balanced perspective on this matchup. He praised Canelo's physical strength and rigorous training, which contribute to his consistent dominance. At the same time, he recognized Crawford's unique ability to read and counter opponents, thanks in part to his wrestling background, adding layers to his defense and attack. However, Showbiz concluded that Canelo's experience and size give him a slight edge in this fight.
And Canelo used his legs, uses his core, and then his neck itself to lift up Bivol like Bivol was a featherweight. That is a huge representation of how strong Canelo is. When you look at his workout, you can tell why he was able to do that. All these damn neck exercises that I wouldn't dare do. Okay, that stuff looks painful. The squatting and all that stuff that he's doing is exactly why Canelo Alvarez, honestly, is a strong fighter. He tried to do it again with William Skull. William Skull shook out of it. But he is a bull. Listen, Terence Crawford is strong. He is. Okay, and he understands leverage, and he understands those things because he wrestles. Honestly, very true. But Saul Canelo Alvarez is also extremely strong. Now, let me know how you feel in the comments below. We're in the zone, boy.
Jarrell Miller shared his personal hopes for the fight, expressing his support for Crawford. He highlighted Crawford's hunger and determination as key factors that could lead him to victory despite any size disadvantages. Miller dismissed concerns about the physical gap, asserting that heart and willpower often determine outcomes in big fights, and that Crawford's motivation could be the deciding factor.
Crawford, huge fight September 13th.
Who do you think's gonna win that?
I'm pulling for Crawford in this one. I think people is underestimating his strength right now and his size. I think he's a little more hungry than Canelo. So let's see though, but I like both guys, but I'm more a little closer to Crawford, so I want to see Crawford can take it.
Many analysts emphasize the importance of Crawford's strategy in this bout. It's not just another fight, it's a potential career-defining moment that could cement his place in boxing history. Beating Canelo would erase doubts and elevate Crawford's legacy. To succeed, he must rely on his intelligence, employing a game plan rooted in precision, patience, and adaptability, while avoiding unnecessary risks.
Understands that he has to be smart. And I think with this one specifically, it ain't just about being smart. He knows he has to look like he's never looked before, because again, if he doesn't and he beat Canelo, everybody's just gonna say, well, that's Crawford. You know, so I think he knows that this is the performance of a lifetime and everything has to look right. He knows in order for it to look right, he can't just go out there and let the dog go. Dog is, you know, he gotta work his way up to the dog. Hey, show the clip real quick. I don't know if you showed it already, but this is the dog you're talking about right here, right? So I pulled this clip right here. I seen it on social media this morning.
Don't do that. That's what I'm saying.
And I pulled this clip, right? But this is Terence.
That's who he is.
He's not gonna swing on Canelo. He already know that part of the game. But what I asked you, were you ever trying to send a message to your opponent? He's letting you know, and it's no act. And that's what I really wanted to show. Is that's not an act.
No.
That's not the 30 security guard.
I don't know. It feels a little contrived.
You think so?
I think a lot of people feel it's a little like.
Well, I'm glad you used a big word that most of us don't know.
Hey, I don't fight as good as you guys. I had to learn some big words, right, to make up for that.
Don't look it up. Just ignore.
You need big words to get out of fights. You know, you need big words to get out of fights. But you know, okay. So case in point, our guy Hafey, sitting right there, producer extraordinaire. He had a picture of Terence Crawford in New York.
Crawford's ambitions are clear. He's willing to take risks, aiming for a knockout against the bigger, more powerful Canelo. His experience at higher weight classes supports his confidence, proving his ability to adapt. Moving up to 168 pounds is a significant leap, but Crawford's skill set and prior success suggest he won't be out of his depth in this fight.
Bud Crawford is taking his undefeated record, putting it on the line, daring to be great, to try and knock off Saul Canelo Alvarez from his throne and go and try to do something that no man has ever done, and that is to be a 3-division undisputed champion. That's a tall task. We know that Canelo Alvarez has fought fighters way bigger than Bud Crawford. It's actually one of the biggest talking points in this fight is the size. Canelo Alvarez has fought guys like Bivol. He's fought guys like Kovalev. He's fought guys like Billy Joe Saunders. He's fought really big fighters who are established at their weight classes all the way up to light heavyweight. And we know that Bud has come from a smaller weight class, being a champion all the way down at the 135-pound division into 140, 147. But as you can see in the tail of the tape, Bud is actually taller. Bud actually has a bigger reach. And quite frankly, he did most recently fight in the 154-pound division. And I don't think he will struggle to make weight to be at 168 and fight as a super middleweight. The question is, though, is bone structure. Who's going to carry that weight more effectively? We know that Canelo Alvarez has been in the weight longer, and as I mentioned, he's fought bigger guys. It's really something amazing for Bud if he's able to pull this off.
Edgar Berlanga offered an encouraging outlook on Crawford's mindset heading into the fight. He advised Crawford to stick with what has brought him success so far instead of overcompensating for the size difference. Berlanga noted that moving up 2 weight divisions makes this an even contest and emphasized Crawford's willingness to test himself at the highest level, regardless of the outcome.
First of all, he got to go in there. He just got to fight him. You know what I'm saying? He got to go in there. I think Crawford just got to go in there and do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? He got to just be Crawford. You know, show his IQ, show him why he's a two-time undisputed, world champion, and going there with confidence. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. It's a big weight difference, a big weight jump. That could be a difference in the fight. Because obviously, it's like me jumping up to heavyweight. Obviously, I'm a feel the power. I'm a feel that size difference, compared to my other fights. So I just think that he got to go in there and just be himself. And I said, if he loses, we'll just all know that, hey, he just jumped up 2 weight classes to be great. You know what I'm saying? He can't really, he's testing himself. He's testing himself a great fighter. So, and I don't doubt him. I don't got no doubt in my mind. He's a 2-time undisputed world champion for a reason. So, and I don't think nothing's gonna phase him in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the power, maybe the size. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo, he's not knocking Canelo out. So, he just got to go in there just IQ.
Would you lean towards Canelo still in that fight?
I got faith in him. I think Crawford could do it. You know what I'm saying? I think he could do it. Just like I said, just the size. The only shit that throws the fight off is the size and obviously the power. Canelo's IQ too, because Canelo got IQ. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo fought a much bigger guys. So I know that Crawford's power ain't gonna phase him. I know Crawford's size ain't gonna phase him either. You know what I'm saying? So, but for me, I think it's a 50-50.
Gareth A. Davies and Duke McKenzie debated this highly anticipated matchup, agreeing that it stands out in today's boxing scene, especially given the rarity of top fighters facing each other. They highlighted how such bouts are what fans crave, moments where greatness meets greatness, forging legacies in the ring. Crawford's ability to adapt mid-fight by making smart adjustments is a key reason for his strong support, as it could be crucial against Canelo.
This is a huge thing coming up. I really like Terence Crawford. I think, we were talking about protest breaking down film. I think that Terence does a good job of that, breaking his point down the fight. I think that he does a good job of adjusting. I do think that, Canelo is a big feat ahead of him, because I also like Canelo. He's kind of one of those things, who do I like more than Knight? It's going to be a really good fight. I like both of them. I think that, that is something that I think women's boxing does a good job of, is putting on fights like that. We fight whoever. So I think it's cool to see the men starting to do more of that, like it historically has always been.
Tim Tszyu offered a candid perspective on the fight's build-up. He noted that Canelo's style can sometimes be predictable, creating opportunities for an intelligent fighter like Crawford to capitalize. Tszyu also observed that the tension in press conferences is often built for hype rather than genuine animosity. His confidence in Crawford stems from his belief that skill can outweigh size, and he recognizes that Crawford understands the stakes. This fight could define his legacy forever.
Made him this great. Do you think that this is a similar thing for your fight now at this point in your career, stepping up and facing someone like Canelo? Does this kind of make you unbeatable and this figure that will just go down in history?
I don't know. I don't know about comparing it to his situation, but it will be a situation where I'll be talked about for many decades to come, and definitely go down in the history books as one of the best fighters to ever receive the glove.
Terence Crawford has expressed cautious optimism about his chances, estimating a 70% likelihood of victory. His self-assessment reflects confidence tempered with realism. He recognizes the challenge of facing a seasoned, larger opponent like Canelo. This mindset shows a fighter who is well prepared and aware of the difficulty but remains confident in his skills and readiness.
You 100%. We never 100%.
Percentage, like
70.
To say 70% chance, it just doesn't sound that confident. But I want to say this, though. He was being truthful. He knows how important this fight is. And it's that important because it is very difficult. So, him saying this is difficult, and I'm giving myself a 70% chance, which is why I'm doing it. It is not because I'm bigger than him and this is easy and I'm stronger than him actually and people don't understand that I'm more skilled. No, he's a beast. And this has never been done. And this is not a sure thing. And that's why I'm so eager to do it. That's the definition of greatness. That's why he should be on the Mount Rushmore of accomplishments. That's why Terence Crawford is great.
That wraps up today's discussion. Stay tuned for more updates and insights on this exciting matchup.